Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now and you're new to my channel, my name is AspieAnswersAll. I'm all about creating mental health awareness series versus, just sharing my life experiences with all these mental illnesses that I have currently addressed to you all, versus just sharing some tips and advice along the way for some of the ones that I may not be suffering from. And basically, through these tips and advices, basically based on my research and training that I did in the past, basically. So hopefully that, everything will come into perspective. But just to be in mind, put a disclaimer out there, as I'm clinically shown right now, I'm no medical expert. I'm just your normal everyday Joe blogs that is, experiencing certain similar, maybe experiences that you may be going through or not, and hopefully that I can walk along with you just so that we can address the signs, symptoms, and everything else right now. So that if you see any classical signs and symptoms that are shown in any of these mental illnesses that I'm addressing to you, or seek professional help first and foremost, as well as second opinion for maybe base treatments and therapies that is best suited for you in the long run. And also, if you don't feel that my advice to you all is good enough, that's fine. You're entitled for your second opinion, or just entitled by choice, to not engage with me. But then, I humbly suggest that if you can kindly bear with me and just, share with you all of what goes down, and then, take it or leave it at the end of it, be it those tips and advice on how to, manage certain everyday things of your mental illnesses, and hopefully that it will come into retrospect. And no further ado, before I continue, also, later in the piece, or earlier in the piece, shall we say, I was addressing to you all in the social anxiety, basically the signs and symptoms, the classic signs and symptoms to be aware of the social anxiety, basically. And basically, I think I have given a few tips here and there about social anxiety, how to overcome it, but it might be coming on later on. So, and all further ado, this is part 5, episode 1, basically misconceptions about anxiety. Okay, let's begin. Number 1, anxiety is a real condition and illness. People sometimes in their lives, as I said, will feel anxious, and feeling anxious isn't a disorder. However, it's just a normal, everyday thing. It can be, a not just behavioral, emotional response to certain things of anxiety, but, anxiety, as I said, on a broad spectrum, will range from basically the environmental versus the psychological versus the physical aspects of all of it. As I said before, we need to know the triggers that causes this, as well as the signs and symptoms of anxiety and the like. Number 2, there doesn't always have to be a tangible reason behind feeling anxious. Okay, another one is number 3, sometimes it hits out of absolutely no response for that. There's not always something that does trigger anxiety, however, i.e., for example, stress, financial problems, worrying about someone that you love and care for, even if they don't love you back. What if it feels like, what it feels like in reality is you're in a real deep dark hole, and that you can't come out of it, even if it may seem perfectly fine and normal around you. You just feel kind of like frozen, trapped in a time factor. Number 4, having anxiety affects people both mentally and physically. It's true to an extent here with people suffering from anxiety, and some of these clinical symptoms and signs that I've shared with you all before are really much similar to an anxiety attack versus, social anxiety and all the like of the mental illnesses that might be addressed. Yes, sometimes with anxiety, though, however, like anything else, it does take time to relax and remain calm, as well as being sure we're in the right frame of mind, and being able to relax will mean the body has time to relax also with us. It's being all in the zing of harmony of this yin and yang, keeping everything in balance in our body, mind, and spirit. Number 5, there are many different types of anxiety. My response to this is anxiety disorders does exist on a scale. There's just people who are maybe anxious, who get stressed so easily, be it, for a classic example, if they get so stressed easily with the anxiety, is maybe they're coming close to an exam and they haven't studied, or they feel pressured right now that they have to please their parents, especially school children, basically to get the best marks, to make sure that they're up there with their high expectations from their parents, regardless what it may be. And then there are other people maybe with more severe extremities of anxiety, or they just maybe experiencing both types of these, anxieties that I've just addressed is the classic example. Number 5, there are many different types of anxieties. Number 6, sorry, is, and having anxiety isn't a quirk. If someone tells you that they're anxious, take them seriously. My response to that is yes, anxieties can appear in different forms, okay, and ways that then interrupts our daily routine and can invade or interfere with our lives, especially with social anxiety. Basically, it can take its toll on us, basically. But then again, as I said before, some of this is, manageable and treatable, but it's just a matter of finding the right, treatment, therapies, advice, and support through others to help us go through our everyday life. Number 7, anxious isn't something that just can't be controlled, and it's not just a phase. My response to you for that, if I heard that about this, is anxiety will always be there no matter what, no matter where we are in our life, and no matter what had triggered that, us being that anxious in the first place, or, feeling with those clinical signs of it. But it's all how we can learn to live and deal with it, as well as adapting to those everyday situations, be it social anxiety, classic example of what I shared with you all, the classic one of maybe being in a party, social engaging with others and the like. Number 8, telling us to calm down actually makes things worse. Okay, feeling anxious is the last thing on our mind that we want to feel all the time, but like I said, and it goes with number 7, that it will always be there regardless, even if it is a feeling or whatever. We do, the last thing we want to hear and tell us is to calm down. Will probably lead us to closer to a bout of anxiety attack, so handle us with care is a good one to address to you all as my response. Number 9, telling us to meditate isn't very helpful advice. Okay, this may be ring true to some point. Deep breathing meditation to a degree may help some of us with anxiety in certain situations where we're at, what we're doing at that given, but it won't help the overall pressure of anxiety. Therefore, medications and other forms of, maybe therapy might have to help us in a way of managing and treating our anxiety of whatever type it may be it social anxiety or just the classical anxiety, the like. Number 10, medications isn't a quick fix. If it were, it would be available, right? Or incredible, I should say. Can't read my writing as I'm trying to read it out loud to you and think it through, sorry. Like any other disorders, not all meds will help in the long term. It may help in the short term for some, bouts of mental illnesses or whatever we're, facing at that time. And that there are other treatments that can be available and help us, as well as, having that right mindset, It's all about it's in the mind, power of the mind. People with anxiety don't need any judgment or criticisms from others, however, just to give you a heads up. When they're trying to get well or do better for themselves, do not criticize how they go about it, because obviously they're doing the best they can to handle it no matter what. Number 11, no, we don't enjoy being anxious. It's basically, when people question us, do we enjoy being anxious? We didn't ask to be anxious, basically. As I said before, it relates again. Basically, anxiety will always be there, no matter what the situation we may face that does bring it more than others. Okay, number 12 for this misconception of anxiety is we aren't pretending to have an illness to get your attention. Like any other mental illness, it is real. It is our, jurisdiction of our label or whatever, or our diagnosis of what we've got. It's just how we live our lives and go about our everyday lives, basically, to go about it, and no matter what, hopefully, we can relate with others around us. Number 13, in fact, most people prefer to be alone when they're having a panic attack. Yes, to a degree, it's true. I'm one of them. I'm sure that there will be many more that would rather be alone when the bouts of anxiety attacks come, because even though many people's intentions are for the good, trying to look out for us and want to help us, but sometimes helping us could put more danger or harm in the way of it, regardless what it may be that we're encountering at that time. Number 14. We're not trying to come off as rude, angry, or lazy. Many people may assume that being, anxious or socially awkward, as I said, versus, shyness and all that, they may have those labels and assumptions of us as being the rude and ignorant ones or whatever, basically. But then again, I'll humbly apologise on my behalf if you may read me as this, but if you take me more seriously and actually educate yourself on certain mental illnesses, on how people work with their disorders, then wouldn't be hopefully making that judgment call or stereotype us in a way that will make us feel more uncomfortable than it is. Number 15, living with anxiety can get seriously exhausting. True, it is. I can vouch for that, as I said before in one of my storyline of basically socializing. My social energy tank runs on empty, and now again, depending on the situation where I'm at, basically, this can also vouch for basically where I'm at with everyday things. Another 16, last but not least, therapy for anxiety is going to take forever. No, it's not going to take forever. Truth is, basically, there are some therapies that can actually work maybe 2-3 weeks at a time frame, maybe, even if you put your best effort into it and actually have the right attitude and mindset that you want to get better. Choice is yours if you want to get better or not. Basically, the truth is also for this therapy is the known one. I think I have already mentioned it, I'm not sure, but I'll say it again. It's the CBT, which is the cognitive behavioral therapy. This can be really effective for people with anxiety disorders and also depression. Some may feel improvement after just a few quick sessions, doing this basically because of what this entails. And this ends basically the misconceptions of anxiety. Give me the like for support, basically. Comment below if I missed any of the misconceptions about anxiety, what you may have heard from others about it, so that we can create a chain here of responses. Also, feel free to, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so for daily, weekly vlogs. Also, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll. Basically, do what you love what you do, love yourself, love others, forgive yourself, forgive others, be conscious of others. Until next time, thanks for the support, thanks for watching, I'll see you all again soon.